Hey, greetings from Sequoyah High School. My name is Stephen Harshfield. I teach upper level science. Today we're going to talk about matter, specifically about the substance that we all know and love. And to get us started, I'd like to do a little demonstration for you. Nice hard yardstick here. Now you can do this at home, but I would suggest that you practice a little bit before you do. And don't use your mother's good yardstick. She'll get very upset with you. Just take and place a couple of pieces of newspaper down like this. Smooth it out. And you want to have about a foot of the yardstick hanging over the edge. Now for the magic. Here we go. Notice that the yardstick has been broken. Now, trust me, I didn't do this on my own. I had a little bit of help. The help comes in the form of science. Science tells me that there's a lot of weight pushing down on that paper. For every square inch of paper that we have about 14.5 pounds of pressure pushing down on it. So that newspaper spreads out, it's about 484 square inches. By the time we put the mass of the air on top of it, we're looking at about 4,000 pounds of pressure holding that yardstick down. Now, so what does that tell us? Well, first of all, that tells us that air has weight. If it has weight, it takes up space. That means it is matter. Another example. The example of how strong the air pressure is. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, be very careful about doing this. Take a glass, put some water in it, put an index card over it like this, invert it. Now then, what do you think will happen if I slowly remove my hand? Why does the card remain in place? Remember, that air is pushing up about 14.5 pounds per square inch. The water pushing down is only pushing down about 5 pounds per square inch. Now, to prove to you that air is matter, remember we said that air has to have volume, it has to take up space. Plastic bottle, just a wad of paper, put it in the neck. Now, can you blow that paper into the bottle? What do you think? Want to give it a try? Try it with me. Uh-oh, maybe I didn't do it right. Let's try again. That paper just doesn't seem to want to go in. So what's going on? What is inside this bottle? There's air in this bottle. When I blow, trying to blow that paper in, that air is pushing back out with enough force to push that paper out. Now, can we make use of this? Well, sure we can. Again, using this bottle, I'm going to put some water in it. And you could take and get a 1-liter bottle and try this on your own. Put some water in it, about like that. How fast can you get the water out of the bottle? Well, if you just tip it over like this, it's going to take an average of about 12 to 15 seconds. That's all right, but can we do it any faster? I know some of you are saying, well, Mr. Harshfield, why don't we squeeze the air out, squeeze the water out of the bottle? All right, so if we did that, the water really doesn't come out that much faster, does it? So what's going on? Let's try one more thing. Put your water in the bottle, invert it, and give it a little swirl. Get it to swirling. You'll notice it comes out much faster. It will take about half the length of time to get the bottle empty. Why? What do you think? Well, you notice that when the water is swirling around the bottle, it creates a vortex. It creates a pathway for air to come up and push the water out. So instead of having the water pulling down and filling up a vacuum here, that vortex is allowing air to come up and it's allowing the water to flow out very quickly. Something that you can try, but do not try this at home. Try it in some of your friend's house. Take a liter bottle and with the help of an adult, use a push pin to poke some holes at the bottom. Fill it with water and quickly cap it and cap it tightly. Then on the side you write, "Do not open." Obviously he's got something up his sleeve. So people invariably will not do what they're told. So it says do not open. They come along, they open the bottle. They open the bottle and guess what? The air flows in, allows the water to flow out the bottom. Big prank. I love it. Yes, I know. I'm taking after my hero, Steve Spangler. In case you don't know, Steve Spangler is a science teacher that has developed a business teaching teachers to be better teachers, to show that science can be fun. Now, we said that there's 15 pounds per square inch of pressure coming from the atmosphere. And we said that, as we know, no two particles of matter can occupy the same space at the same time. Can we prove that air is matter? Well, we can take and weigh it, pour a little bit of water into a pop can like this. Oh, excuse me a second. Now we are going to take and heat this water up. Come on. Actually, I think I've got it. Yeah. And I'm going to put this flame under this can. Now, what I'm doing, I'm providing heat. We're causing the water to change the states of matter. It's going from a liquid to a gaseous state. And as it does, it's going to expand. When things get hot, they expand. So think about it. What's happening to the air inside the can? As the water expands, it's going to push the air out, right? All right. It'll take it a minute for this to heat up. The three-state matter, we have a solid like this. The particles are tightly packed together. We have a liquid where the particles are not so tightly packed together. They're freer to move. Then we have a gas like this, in which the particles are extremely far apart. Oops, got the wrong one. You don't have to be perfect to be a teacher, just right most of the time. Let's see, how's this doing?
Those are the molecules, right?
Yes. Yeah, those are molecules. In a solid, the molecules are tightly packed together. They have very limited movement. That's why a solid will not change its shape. Liquid, the particles are free flowing. They can move around a bit. That's why a water will take on the shape of the container. In a gas, the particles are far apart. They're free flowing. They can move at random. That's why a gas can expand as much as it does. So in theory, we could take a liter of gas, say fill up this with just a gas, cap it, take it into a space that is completely void of anything, open it up, and the gas will expand to fill up the room. Yeah, it's still going. It takes a bit of time. It does take a lot of energy to boil water. And so if you'll notice, when your mother's cooking, she may use a pot and pan. It may take several minutes for that water to start to boil. If we were at a higher altitude, say in Denver, Colorado, the water would boil at a lower temperature because the pressure pushing down on it is much lower. All right, we've got some steam coming. So the water inside the can is starting to boil. Oh, pardon me. Now then, on the count of 3, I'm going to take these tongs and put this can into this beaker of water. So get ready for it because it's going to happen very quickly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And that's all there is to it. The can crushed, pulled in some water from the beaker, but what caused the can to crush? Remember we said that the steam was pushing the air out? At the same time, the pressure from the atmosphere is about 14 pounds per square inch. So when I take and invert it into the water, that steam condenses. It reduces the amount of space that it needs. Boom, the can crushes. This same effect has been noted in railroad cars. People would take and steam clean the inside of the cars and then for whatever reason seal them off tightly. As the car cools overnight, the atmospheric pressure can Another way that we can show that air has or takes up volume. I have here a hard-boiled egg that's been shelled. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel. I'm going to light it and drop it into the flask like that and let it burn. Now I'm going to take and put the egg right there. Watch what happens to the egg. Can you see it? It's starting to be pulled down into the flask. It's slow because the egg is larger, just almost the same size as the opening to the flask. But see? There. And I remember, I just set the egg on top. I didn't do anything special with it. Now, if this egg was a medium size or a slightly smaller egg, it would be sucked down into the flask. And the way to get it out is to blow into the flask, and it will increase the air pressure and allow the egg to slide right back out. In fact, we can do that with this egg just by using a straw. We're going to take and very carefully insert the straw. Whoops. So much for the egg. But we can insert the straw and blow on it and push the egg out. And to prove to you that this is a genuine egg, there's a little bit of salt. So, what have we found out so far? First of all, egg can slide into a flask, needs a little salt. We found that air pressure can crush a pop can. We found that it can crush a railroad car. We found out a way for this air to be allowing the water in a bottle to come out faster. We've seen a way that an index card can hold water in a glass. Try this. Take a raw potato, and this is a demonstration of how strong the air can be when it's in a confined space. Take a raw potato, and we're going to put this straw into the potato itself. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, before I do this, please don't try this at home until you've been properly trained. 1, 2. The reason is this could be dangerous. 1, 2. The teacher that was showing me this had a student that thought he knew better, and he put the straw through this fleshy part of his hand. Very painful, or at least I would assume so. All right, so here we go. 1, 2. My instructor, when he was showing me this, kept saying, pink, bad, brown, good. You've got to remember that. So here we go. 1, 2. Are you ready for this? 1, 2. Are you sure? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. There is the straw. If you look right here, the straw has come through the other side of the potato. How in the world can we put a straw through a potato? Oh, I know. Someone sitting there saying, it's a baked potato. That makes it all soft. Is that a baked potato? If it was a baked potato, it'd flake right out, wouldn't it? Excuse me just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll pardon me for just a minute. Whoops. Lunch. Still needs salt. Oh, when I was holding the straw, I'll get another straw here. I'll show you. But when I was holding the straw, I put my thumb over the end of the straw. That allowed the air inside that straw to be a confined space, and that gave the straw strength. That's all there is to it.
What would happen if you don't put your thumb over what happens?
Oh, if you don't put your thumb over the end, that straw will probably collapse. You might be able to get it in a little ways, but not all the way through. One last thing for you. We said that air has space, has volume, takes up space. I have here a plastic bag that's tied on one end. How many breaths would it take for me to blow this up? Let's find out. And count with me, or count for me. There's 10 breaths. So based upon this, maybe 15 breaths, right? Can we do it a better way, a faster way? All right, count for me again. There's 7. And notice it's about halfway. What's the difference? The first way, I was using what's known as Bernoulli's principle. Yeah, and what that says is that particles moving faster will create a lower vacuum, or lower pressure. And so when I put the bag up to my face the second time, the only air going in was the air from my lungs. But when I held it out here and blew in, the air rushing in created a lower pressure and pulled more air in. And so you could do this very quickly, very easily. And next time, we'll take a look at some of the practical applications for Bernoulli's principle. This is Stephen Harshfield from Sequoyah High School saying thanks for joining me.
Mr. Harshfield?
Yes.